Chapter 1. Despite the creeping cold of the autumn afternoon in high country, and the feeling in his gut as if an irate lion cub were trying to claw its way out, Samuel Tucker reckoned that starving to death might not be an altogether unpleasant sensation. Of course, the warm lightheadedness he was feeling might also have something to do with the last of the rot-gut gargle he'd been nursing since he woke up. He regarded the nearly empty bottle in his hand and shrugged. No matter. Finally get to see you again, Rita, and little Sammy. My sweet girls. Even the horse on which he rode, Gracie, no longer perked her ears when he spoke. At one time a fine mount, she was now more bone than horse. The sorrel mare plodded along the lush valley floor, headed northward along the east bank of a river that, if Tucker had cared any longer about such things, he would know as Oregon's Rogue River. All he knew was that he'd wandered far north. And he didn't care. His clothes had all but fallen off him. His fawn-colored, tall-crowned hat, a fine gift from Rita, had disappeared one night in an alley beside a gambling parlor in New Mexico. The top half of his once red long handles, now pinked with age and begrimed with Lord knows what, and more hole than cloth, served as a shirt of sorts. Ragged, rough-weave trousers bearing rents that far south had invited welcoming breezes, now ushered in the frigid chill of a coming winter in high country. And on his feet, the split, puckered remnants of boots. These were the clothes Tucker had been wearing the day his Rita and little Samantha had... At one time, though, Samuel Tucker had cut a fine figure around Tascosa, Texas. With his small but solid ranch, and with a wife and baby daughter, he'd been the envy of many. But that was in the past, before the sickness. Mercy, thought Tucker. 2 years and I can't think of it without my throat tightening. At least I don't have to worry about being robbed, he said aloud. His laugh came out as a forced, thin sound that shamed him for a flicker of a moment. Then once again, he no longer cared. The land arched up before him in a gentle rise away from the river. Here and there, trees close by the river for the past half-mile had been logged off some years before, leaving a stump field along the banks. Ragged branches long since cleaved from the vanished timber bristled upward among still green undergrowth, seeming to creep toward him. He traveled along the river, and the gradually thickening forest soon gave way to an upsloping greensward, just beginning to tinge brown at the tip. He was about to pitch the now empty bottle in the rushing brown flowage off to his left when the crack of a gunshot halted him. It came from somewhere ahead. Even Gracie looked up. 2 more shots followed. Curiosity overrode his drunken lethargy, and the pair, man and horse, roused themselves out of their stupor and loped up the last of the rise. They found themselves 50 yards from an unexpected sight. 2 men circling one. The man in the center, a wide-shouldered brute wearing a sheepskin coat, sat tall astride a big buckskin. He held in one hand what looked to be a substantial gun, maybe a Colt Navy, but appeared to have trouble bringing it to bear on the 2 men, who took care to keep their own horses dancing in a circle around the big man. He tried to do the same, tugging feebly at his reins. What was wrong with the man, Tucker wondered? Was he drunk? He acted as much. And then Tucker got his answer. The man jigged his horse again, and the big horse tossed its head and stepped hard. Then Tucker saw the red pucker, blackened at the edges. The man had been shot in the back. One of the other men shouted, then shot the big man's hand. It convulsed, and the pistol dropped. The shooter's companion, thin and sporting a dragoon mustache and a flat-crowned black hat with what looked like silver conchos ringing the band, laughed, looking skyward. As he brought his head back down, his laughter clipped short. He leveled his pistol on the big man in the sheepskin coat. One shot to the gut, and the victim hunched as if he were upheaving the last of a long night's binge. He wavered in the saddle. The man looked so fragile to Tucker. It did not seem possible that this was happening right